Good evening, everyone. I am getting ready for work and we are getting close to Halloween. It's the 27th. So I want to talk about some of our products that are dual use for Halloween makeup and getting ready every day. You guys see me use this eyeliner nearly every day. I use it on my top, sometimes on my bottom, sometimes I use the pencil on my eyeliner on my bottom. But I want to talk about how you can get this for free. And I'm going to start the video off by drawing on my hands with it so you can see how you can get fine lines, fat lines, thick lines, and control. And then by the end of it, we're going to show you how well it stays on, waterproof, etc. So I'm going to draw just a nice little straight line. You can do squiggles, do super fine lines. You can do anything in between, right? Okay, so that's what I want to show. Look how smooth it goes on, how easy it goes on. It is a liquid. It has a precision, that's a hard word, chisel tip, but it is not hard. I don't know if you saw while I was drawing. It is a nice soft tip. It bends, so it's kind of like a brush, but not as soft. It's not quite as movable as a brush. So you see me use this all the time. It is amazing for a winged eye. I don't do a lot of winged eyes because, as you can see, I have a hooded lid and it takes a little bit of extra technique and skill to do a winged liner on a hood, but I'll show you a little bit today of what I do when I do that. So I don't want to go too bold as I am going to work tonight, so I'm not doing any Halloween looks or crazy wings, but I will do a small wing for you and I'll show you how you can do that with this eyeliner. So on top of just loving it and using it all the time, right now we have a buy more save more deal going on, which is if you buy any 3 products that come in at $20 value each, you get a free product. And right now, for the next few days, that free product is our eyeliner. And it is black, as you saw me drawing on my hand. We do have some graphic eyeliners in some other shades, like a blue and a green. It's greenish. But the black is for this style. And so like I said, I love it. I use it all the time. I use it for my regular eyeliner, even when I'm not doing wings. And then if I'm doing a wing, I definitely want that. So say hello when you hop on. Let me know what you guys are doing for Halloween. So based on, if you have kids or don't have kids, and how old they are, you probably are doing, everyone does something a little bit different. Do you stay home and hand out candy? Do you go out trick-or-treating with your kids? Do you have a Halloween party that you go to? Do you go out to the bars? Or do you just hide inside your house with all the lights off and hope that no one stops by? All are acceptable answers, or maybe there's something I'm not thinking of. So let me know what you're doing for Halloween. I know that I've seen people set up outside and have a bonfire while they're handing out candy. They have people over to do that. Sorry. Okay. So I'm just curious what everyone does. Around here, a lot of times you'll see people handing out beers and stuff and turning it into a whole neighborhood party while people are out trick-or-treating, which is kind of fun. I think I'm going to end up working Halloween night, but I should still be able to go out trick-or-treating with the girls. So typically what we do is we turn off our lights and go out into the neighborhood and trick-or-treat for pretty much the whole duration of time. It's only 2 hours here, so we end up with plenty of candy in 2 hours, I can tell you that. But basically once it gets dark, everyone seems to kind of shut down, which is fine with me. But I have considered, what if we went out for the first hour and then got back home and handed out candy for the second hour. I don't know, we've talked about doing different things. But we tried handing out candy in the past, back when I was pregnant with pregnant with Liz. I know that I was dressed up as Dr. Seuss's Thing 1, Thing 2, and I handed out candy. We only had 4 people come to our door. So there's quite a few kids in the neighborhood, but everyone seems to go to kind of the newer neighborhood where the houses are a little bit closer together. There's sidewalks. People are sitting out in their driveways. That seems to be where everyone tends to go. It's still walkable from my house. So that seems to be where most of our neighborhood goes. They go to a different neighborhood to trick-or-treat because we don't see a lot of trick-or-treaters here. So that's our story. I used to do Halloween parties, but usually not on Halloween. So I don't know what I did back when I wasn't married and grown up. I'm sure there was some bar hopping, things like that. Like I said, I used to host a Halloween party, but we never usually did it on Halloween. So everyone would dress up in costumes and stuff. That was always fun. So, we're getting close here. We'll move on to the eyeliner here in a second. But you saw BB cream is what my go-to is. And then I use my all-in-one color stick for some blusher. Still obsessed with the eyeshadow sticks. This is still my favorite. We got the new liquid eyeshadow and I like those, but I just keep finding myself going back to these eyeshadow sticks. They're so easy to apply. You saw I didn't even use a brush. I typically don't. Sometimes I'll do some blending with my fingers, but I just love them. So I'm gonna do my brows real quick and then we'll move on to this liquid eyeliner. And I'll show you how I do a winged look for my eyes. And you'll have to bear with me. I'm gonna try to do it in the phone as my mirror, but it can be a little hard to see what I'm doing. So hopefully I can show you. The biggest tip that I have for eyeliner is not to pull on the corners of your eyes while you're applying it to try to get that the eyelid to be taut, because it changes the shape of your eyes, and especially if you're doing a winged liner, that's going to dramatically impact what it looks like in the end if you change the shape of your eyes. So what I like to do is I like to start with just lining my eyes without doing any of the wing first and just kind of getting that base down, and then you'll see. So take my Precision, that's the word, liquid eyeliner, and what I like to do, since I'm going to do a wing, the outer corner is going to be a little bit fatter than the inner corner, and I'm going to start at the outer, and I'm going to draw it on without pulling on my eye is the goal every time. Sometimes I have to go back in a little bit. But the nice thing about the liquid is how smooth it goes on, so I don't have to do this to get my eyelid taut to put it on. Okay, so nice and easy, one hand in the phone. And then I usually turn it over to get the inner corner and come back out a little bit, right? Because going this way, I end up with my hand on my nose and it makes it challenging, okay? So pretty easy, pretty straightforward, okay? And then if I'm doing the bottom with my precision liner as well, you wanna try to be careful because it is liquid. Get it in your eye, you're gonna end up like this like black eye. So I try to keep that on my waterline, but on the outer edge of my waterline. And I'm not as good doing the smooth line on my lower lid, so I just kind of feather it, just like I would do if I was sketching on paper with a pencil and I'm not sure about my shape. Like just a bunch of little lines to get it where I want it without losing control. And I just use the very tip of this chisel to do my bottom lid. And then I like to go back upwards from this outer corner and connect it to the top, right? Get that outer part darkened in, filled in, so there's no like gaps. And you'll see I don't go all the way to my inner corner of my eyes. I like to keep that lighter, keeps my eyes looking brighter and more open, okay? And then all of this will really be tied together once you add mascara, because this is very dark and the bottom looks darker than the top, but as soon as my top starts to get darker, when I put the mascara on my lashes on top, it will really bring it on all together. So the other thing I love about this chisel tip is the chisel, okay? So what I like to do is, without doing something super crazy with my eye, because I want it to look like it's going to look when I'm just looking at you and talking to you, I try to just look in the mirror without like looking down, looking up, making my eyes really big, anything like that. I really just try to look into the mirror and I usually do lift my brow just a little bit to try to make this a little bit tighter so I can draw on it. But if you do that too much, it's gonna change the shape. So what you wanna do is you want to find kind of the natural curvature of your bottom lid and your top lid, and you don't want to bring this down, because that's gonna make the wing, that's gonna make your hoods look even more dramatic. So you're gonna be drawing over the crease of your hood if you have hooded lids. So I take that the angle of that bottom lid, and I just find it across that crease. See how there's a crease there? And now when I strengthen my eyes, there's like a gap because I drew across the crease. So then what I do is I can bring my eye a little bit more close, and look how high that looks. Like if I were to do it like this, I would never put that wing up there, right? That looks dramatically high. So instead of doing that, I find it here, which is where my eyes are normally gonna be when I'm talking to somebody, get that mark on there, that's gonna be the tip of my wing, and then bring it down, okay? But look, when my eye is open, that looks natural, okay? That looks good. That's bringing a lift to my face. It's like a facelift, okay? And it looks really long. I probably would never also draw it that long if I was doing it with my eye closed, okay? And then you wanna bring it back and you're gonna connect it to your top lid. And now this is where sometimes I will pull because I've drawn my line, right? I've got my shape created. So now it's not quite as big of a deal if I stretch it out because I'm going to stay inside those lines to fill in that triangle. Sorry, I'm going to have to use my actual mirror because I cannot see in this for a second. And then you just kind of make it shape into the actual liner so it looks a little bit more natural. But look how not dramatic that looks compared to if I was doing it like this or tugging on it, right? Like I would get a completely different shape. But when you do it like this, it gives you a little bit of facelift, just a little bit of the wing, and that wing is gonna blend in once I get that mascara. So I'm gonna do this other one real quick, hopefully not talk so much. Try to do the same thing, make them match, similar size, similar thickness, and then we'll go with the mascara and you'll see how it really all ties together. Similar, they're not perfect. They're probably never gonna be. That's okay. It takes practice and time. And if you're not perfect, that's okay too. So mine got a little bit lower on this one than I wanted. You saw me trying to adjust it. And it's not moving, and that's okay. Still looks pretty good, all right? And like I said, it's gonna blend together once I get that mascara on. It won't be nearly as obvious that I have a wing going on. Okay, so we're gonna do that real quick, and then I'm gonna show you how, well, first, it's not budging, which is awesome. So that's one of the reasons that I love this. It doesn't smudge or smear, and it's water resistant. So even if you get sweaty or you have some tears, it's not gonna go anywhere. This is our lash primer. I have been using it with our 4D mascara and found that I'm much happier with how long the 4D mascara lasts. I have a little bit, like, especially overnight, I rub my eyes a decent amount, and I get apparently just oily enough that the oils cause the mascara to give me raccoon eyes. So the primer helps with that. And so I don't come home in the morning, I don't sit there at work all night with big dark circles from the mascara. Now I might be getting dark circles from being tired, but I do like to do mascara on my lower lashes. Not everyone does, but I don't know, I'm a millennial. That's just what we do. And I haven't changed my philosophy on that. Okay? So, mascara over the top lashes. And then you'll see I'm gonna end up with mascara on my lids. It happens every time. That's a product of having hooded lids. And I'm gonna show you how I deal with that. But you let it dry. That's the #1 thing. If you get mascara on your skin, let it dry before you try to adjust. Okay? And this brush has 2 different sides. I can't physically, like when I look at it, they all look the same to me. But if I find I'm not loving how it's applying, I just roll the tube in my hand a little bit, and then I'm like, oh, that's the side that I wanted. And I just do it throughout the application. And look how that blends in with the wing. Like the wing has somewhat disappeared, which is what not that I want it to disappear, but the whole point of the wing is to give me the lift, which it's still giving, but it's not looking super dramatic and crazy. And like I've got, you know, I'm not doing a glam makeup look. So I'm a very big fan of blending it in with the mascara. So I try to keep it about the same length as what my lashes are going to end up being. Okay, where am I looking for? Ah, there it is. Okay, and then like I said, you let the mascara that gets on your eyelids dry. So I actually did a pretty good job. But you can see there's a little bit of black above my eyeshadow. Can you see that? Take the spoolie of your brow brush and just stroke it away. That's gonna keep you from messing up your eyeshadow. And it's gonna get rid of those tiny little black specks. Same on the bottom. But if you don't let it dry, it's gonna just smudge and then be worse. And then you have to like actually wipe it off. So let your mascara dry before you do that. What do we think? Something you could do? It might take a little practice, but I think everybody can do this. And I know that having hooded lids is totally a problem that a lot of people I know have. So they often shy away from that winged liner, but you don't have to. You just have to figure out how to make it work for your eyes. So if you have any questions about that, or if you want any of these products, I'm going to build a bundle that's going to have the mascara, the eyeshadow, and the primer in there, and you're going to get a free eyeliner with it. So check the comments. I'll have it in there soon. If you're watching live, if you're watching on the replay, it should already be down there. Go check the comments, say hello, let me know what you're doing for Halloween, and if you're dressing up, tell me what your costume is, okay? Thanks for watching. Have a great night. See you later.